Welcome back to One Piece Anime Review, episode 38. No, I'm not going to act like King of Lightning, who tends to drag out the name of One Piece like, One Piece. Yeah, it's really bizarre of how he does it, and it's one of the most bizarre intros I've seen for a video, and whenever he talks about anything. So I don't usually watch his videos that much anymore because of that. Yeah, but okay. This one, I'm going to talk about the 824th episode of the series, The Rendezvous. Luffy of 101 at his limit. Yep. This one adapts chapter 855, basically 13 through 17, and chapter 856, pages 2 through 7. 6 pages. Okay, fine. So, this one, let's talk about, before I get to the whole thing with Luffy and such, let's talk about what happened with the rest of the Straw crew. Well, they talked to Brook, and this part I do remember. He did take time to copy the poneglyph, but apparently he only got time to do three sheets. Oh yeah, and he kept them in the most usual place he keeps anything whenever he went trying to search them. He keeps it inside of his skull. Yeah, I remember him doing this during the first arc of during his introduction season back in season 9, where he pulls his hair back. Apparently he can do it with his skull. When Carrot and G-Mace, I was like, they're both shocked the fact he can actually do that. Well, he's a skeleton, so why not? So, and they're shocked the fact he actually took the time to actually do this. Now I knew about this part. Yeah, I'm glad the fact they kept that part in. But in case related to this particular thing, it's not very long. It takes up like a small chunk of the episode. And now I mentioned that back in episode 808 when Luffy and Sanji had their fight, which at this point it has been 16 episodes since that fight, and now finally stuff is starting to fruition. Yep. So pretty much at this point, most of the Straw Hats have been reunited, and they asked all the mariners like, "Where's Luffy?" It's like he's nowhere, and he's nowhere in the building. So Nami's like, "Okay, I know where Luffy's heading." And that's where we cut to the whole thing with Luffy and Sanji. Yeah, but for the most part, at least, that the Straw Hats actually a chance to do something. Also, they feel possibly Penkham's might be still alive. Yeah, they flash back to when he got shot by Capone Bench, the leader of the captain of the Fire Tank Pirates. Yeah, it's implied that Jinbei and the Sun Pirates may have actually saved it. I don't really remember that part if you did or not. Let me see. Oh yeah, and then we talk about Luffy and Sanji. Now the search when Sanji's looking for Luffy is actually longer in the anime than it is in the manga. I think in the manga it only takes like a page or two, and bam, he finds him. Now where he finds him in the episode, that's pretty much where he finds him in the manga, leaning next to that tree, which by the way in the anime has been there since like it's been that way since episode 808, being sliced in half. I think, yeah. No, actually, it's been there since 809. Yeah, and I gotta point this out though. It has been raining in the anime now for at least also 16 episodes. It hasn't rained since episode 9. Though this is raining syrup. The only time I can think of where it actually rained in the actual anime was actually during the end of Alabasta, way back in season 4. So it's been a while since the actual rain in the series. Yeah, you never saw any air point in the series, but you see it here, which is great. Yep. Let me think. Yeah, and of course Luffy fights one of the two big brothers. Somehow he defeats him off screen, mind you. Yeah, it's seen extended briefly, where he just stopping with Haki, and that somehow he beats him off screen, and he gets next to the tree, and that's where Sanji finds the next episode. And it looks like next episode, which is called The Liar, Luffy and Sanji, where it looks like he basically gets the food, eats it, and possibly reconciles with Sanji. Yeah, but it definitely looks like that we may get a chance to see that famous scene from the manga with Carrot and Nami taking a bath. Yep, making it the first time Nami's seen taking a bath. As far as I know, first time I can personally think of she's actually done this since. I would say the last time she did this was actually pre-time skip, when she took a shower. Yep. So we might get a chance to see this. We get a chance to see some fan service. Also, the German 6X are seen briefly in the episode. Yeah, they're only seen for like one scene, and it's been a little while. It's been like a few episodes. At least in the case of Ranjini, it's only been like just a good 2 or 3 episodes. She actually seen the previous episode, but yeah, as for her father and brothers, it has been several episodes since we last seen them. Heck, even the manga, it's like they take their sweet time showing up. Me. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Excuse me. But in the case of the episode itself, it was a great episode. And it definitely did feel like, even though it wasn't much action per se in this episode, it did feel like that the plot was definitely moving forward. And I've got to point out, though, that these 2 chapters, 855 and 856, the book this is actually adapted from just came out this past week. Yeah, it's like, okay, we finally get up to this particular point, and only now does book 85 come out. Yeah, it just came out just this past week. And 85 goes to, I think it's like, let me look it up here. I think it goes up to, let's find out here. 85 goes up to 58. So it looks like it's almost done adapting the chapters in book 85. The last book I purchased, the last book I purchased for One Piece was actually volume 83. That came out this last year in August. Yeah. Now there's still 2 more books set to come out. So I think that book 86 will probably come out in, I'd say, April, and then 87 probably be June. So it's going to be a little while before these books get released. But overall, like I said for this episode, good episode. Now let's talk about the manga. This is chapter 893, $36 of Charlotte Family, Flampe. Yeah, this is basically Pudding's little sister. Yep, little sister. And she's shorter than she is. Apparently she also has ability to briefly fly for some reason. Yeah. If you want to know what happens this chapter, yeah, Felipe, while Luffy and Kataku are fighting, she apparently fires a needle at Luffy, and of course he misses. Katakuri decides to open up his stomach for some reason, and he also takes off his scarf, showing off his nice, pearly, fangy whites. Yeah, first time in, I think it's been a good, good few chapters. I think the last time they actually did this was actually the first time they actually showed his teeth, which was actually, I think it was a good 5 or 6 chapters back. It hasn't been that long per se since they showed his teeth. And apparently Luffy's haki is now on the level of his, so now he considers them equals. Okay, fine. Of course, he does chastise his little sister. Yeah, and apparently, and this is quite weird, apparently she has sort of, it's implied from looking at the way they look in the panels, it looks like she has a school crush on her older brother, which is bizarre. Even though they're blood relatives, and I think that he's probably like her half-brother per se. But, yeah, this is one cute little girl. I think by looking at her, she's not like Pudding where she looks like she's about the same age as Sanji. She looks like she's about 12, 13 years old. Well, you don't see her legs. Basically, she's only seen flying, which is odd. Yeah, not much is known about this particular girl. Oh yeah, and our friends just laughing the fact that Luffy manages to miss her blow dart that she fired at him. Which and of course Katakuri chastises her for interfering in his duel with Luffy. Yeah, this is a duel between men. Don't interfere. And Luffy's like, yeah, whenever pirates fight, there's no such thing as fighting dirty. Yep. So Luffy didn't have a really big problem with it, but Katakuri did. Yep. Which is interesting, though, because usually, and this is something quite interesting about One Piece, usually the good guy complains about the bad guy playing dirty. Here, the bad guy complains about playing dirty. Yeah, this is a good reversal, because that's what it usually is in fiction, where the bad guy tends to cheat in fights, and the good guy tends to be like clean cut. In this one, it's not Luffy who cheats, it's Katakuri's younger sister who tries to interfere in their duel, and he calls out cheating in their fight, but not on Luffy per se. Just that he calls out his own little sister. Yeah. Excuse me. And the chapter ends with them about to resume their fight. So with this particular chapter overall, when it comes to this particular plot, it definitely does feel like it's advancing. Unlike in the last chapter, we advanced a lot. This one, it feels like it's advancing the fight between Katakuri and Luffy. And this is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping we don't go like 3 or 4 chapters before we finally resume this fight again. I hope not, because that's basically what this fight is. It's like, okay, we start a good fight, and then we don't do much with it for about a few chapters. Short of like one quick panel, like 1-page cameo of the fight, where we just focus on the outside. And we have had, this is the first chapter in quite a while. We have Luffy and Katakuri fighting. I would say this is probably, the first time since, I'd say 85, I think it is, of the last time that Luffy, that this particular fight has actually been a full chapter. It feels like it's been a little while. Yeah, that's what it seems like to me when it comes to particular chapters. But it is a good chapter. It definitely does feel like it's advancing the plot, though a little bit. Not like in the case of Toriko Guri, where it just took one tiny baby step. This one took like a pretty good step forward, and it does feel like that maybe this fight will probably take up good next chapter. Hopefully they don't pull what they've done in the last few chapters, where they just, let's just show this fight for like 1 page after we have this big whole chapters in Mirror World. Can we just have another full chapter in Mirror World? Or we're going to do the same thing we did after we did that one chapter review of Katakuri's teeth, where we have just showing stuff outside. I mean, it seems like the stuff on the outside of Mirror World is pretty much wrapping up from what I can tell. And I would say as of this chapter, most of this arc has wrapped up. I would say the only thing left to go for this particular arc, aside from the Straw Hats getting away from Big Mom's territory, is Big Mom eating the cake and Luffy and Katakuri's fight finishing up. Yeah, so Luffy's back with, not Luffy, Sanji's back with the Straw Hats. First time he set foot on their ship since like a bunch of chapters, like almost like 100 chapters seems like. Yeah, but this chapter, yes, it does feel like it advances forward. It takes a big step. Not like a huge step like it was in last chapter, but a big step nonetheless. Okay? So, that's it for this particular episode. Stay tuned for next week's episode, which will be episode 39, where I'll talk about the 825th episode series, A Liar, Luffy and Sanji, and chapter 894. And as far as I can tell, this chapter is coming next week because the chapter didn't end with, oh yeah, we're going on a break next week. Yeah, so it looks like definitely that this chapter will come out next week. But after 894, it's just basically up to the writer. If, let's say, if it's going to take a break after 894 or after 895, it's all up to Oda. Alright? But it's still a good chapter and good episode of the manga. Alright? So I'll tell you some in the next video, which, by the way, it'll be a good couple hours, a little 2 hours from now, because I'm going to do 6 more episodes of Torgo, and then I'll do my second part of my Torgo anime review, okay? We'll do this in the next video. Bye.